Please sing. Thank you. You may be seated. And now we'll have Shalonda Walton, our BSU treasurer, for libations.
An African proverb tells us that people who lack knowledge of their past are like a tree without roots. So in the spirit of remembrance, we pour this libation. We pour to honor the past so that we may learn from it. We pour to honor the importance of family and friends. We raise our cup to God to show our reverence for the original source of our lives. We use cool water as a symbol of the continuity of life, to purify and to nourish our souls. We pour to celebrate the memory of the departed. Place your minds with those who could not be here today, family, friends, and ancestors who have passed on, or ill, or simply could not find their way here. Place your thoughts with this person or persons, and if you feel so moved, say their name aloud. Please say Ashe pronounced after the name.
Dr. Martin Luther King.
Ashe.
Maya Angelou.
Ashe.
Kobe Bryant.
Ashe. Harriet Tubman. Ashe.
Elliot Collins.
Ashe.
Jose Nelson.
Ashe. William McRae. Ashe. Lillian McRae. Ashe. Alice McRae.
Ashe. Malcolm X.
Ashe.
We cast our libation to the north, to the south, to the east, and to the west. We wish everyone to leave today more blessed than when they arrived. Asante.
Ashe.
Now we'll have our FOSSA Region 1 Director, Linnea Baker, for our welcome.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. BSU would like to welcome you and thank you guys for coming out to celebrate our annual Black History celebration. We thank you and we hope you have a good time. If I can get Quez to bring me the list. We're going to acknowledge the dignitaries that are here. If you're here, will you just stand or raise your hand and let everybody else know who you are? Ms. Karen Edwards, Health Educator Consultant, Tobacco Program, Jackson County Health Department. Ms. Catrice Davis, Diabetes Education Association Program, Jackson County Health Department. The Honorable Travis Ephraim, City Commissioner. The Honorable Diane Long, Jackson County School Board Member, District 1. The Honorable Stacy Goodson, Jackson County School Board Member, District 3. Mr. Art Kimbrough. Mr. Ronnie Bell, Waste Management. Mr. Leon Kelly, Buffalo Soldier. Mr. Marvin Couch, Buffalo Soldier. And anybody else that's in the audience that didn't sign in, but you're an associate or anything, would you please stand and wave your hand?
We have an additional Buffalo Soldier here in Granbury.
Okay, Mr. Ed Granberry. Okay, sorry.
Linda Franklin, President of the NAACP.
Thank you. All right, if that's all, welcome, and I hope you guys enjoy.
Thank you, Linnea. And now I'll do the occasion for tonight. We are here to celebrate Black History Month by honoring individuals of the past and present who have made contributions and sacrifices that impacts us all. African Americans have contributed immensely in making this country great. Although many African Americans initially arrived in chains in this country and passed on in chains, there were many leaders who paved the way toward freedom. African Americans have influenced the course of American history, some through inventions and discoveries, some through speaking and writing, and some through music, art, education, and athletics. We hope that our program tonight will be inspirational and will enlighten everyone on the contributions of the past that have shaped our world into what it is today. And now I'll give you a brief history of the Buffalo Soldiers. Following the U.S. Civil War, regiments of African American men, known as Buffalo Soldiers, served on the western frontier, battling Indians and protecting settlers. The Buffalo Soldiers included 2 regiments of all-black cavalry. The 9th and 10th Cavalries formed after Congress passed legislation in 1866 that allowed African Americans to enlist in the country's regular peacetime military. And now please stand for the Black National Anthem. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmony of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let every cloud Thank you. And now we'll have Shanika Walton, our BSU Vice President, for our invocation.
Please join me in prayer. God of creation, we bow before you, full of wonder, praise, and admiration. We pause today to remember our brave ancestors who fought and died to transform the world for us and for generations to come. In those days when hope appeared to be dead, you were with us. You assured and hope and transformed darkness into light. We especially ask your blessings upon us all of the families who are here and those who are not present. For all these blessings, we are eternally grateful and ask them in your name, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Association of United Professional, Baxter Asphalt, Beard Equipment Company, Mr. Leroy Boone, and he's always been here for us, and he's always been here for the Chipola College Black Student Union, and he's always been a major contributor for the Black History Celebration every year. Capital Engineering, Chipola Ford, Dewberry, Gulf Power, the Honorable Diane Long, Jackson County School Board Member, District 1, Mr. David Melvin Engineering, Joan Edmonds, Mariana Animal Hospital, Mariana Toyota, McCoy Septic Tank, Miller & Miller GMC and Chevrolet, MJ Milton Insurance Agency, the Honorable Mary Carol Murdoch, Tax Collector, North Florida Insurance Service, Rex Lumber, the Honorable Clayton Rooks, Clerk of the Circuit Court and Comptroller, and Miss Amy Rooks, Van's Funeral Home, Waste Management, Watson's Jewelers, West Florida Electric, Wyndham Shoe Shop, Mariana, Walmart, Captain D's, City of Mariana, CVS Pharmacy, the Florida Farm Bureau Insurance, O'Reilly's, Miss Curly Spires Potter, Watson's Jewelers, and then donations, Florida Peanut Producers, Tatum's Hardware, Spires Behavioral Health Center, Winn-Dixie, Winter Spires and Associates, and then our booth representatives, Ms. Karen Edwards, Jackson County Health Department, Tobacco Prevention, Ms. Sophia Reed, Jackson County Health Department, Rapid HIV and Hepatitis C Testing, Ms. Catrice Davis, Jackson County Health Department, Diabetes Education Association Program, and then our other contributors, Dr. Willie E. Spires. Thank you for all the support and everything you do for BSU. Ms. Martha Spires and Ms. Brittany Spires. Thank you for assisting with BSU. Ms. Winter Spires, Mr. Cody Belford, and Ron Spires Belford. Thank you for your support of BSU and our events. And Chipola College, thank you for the use of the facility. And then our BSU members, myself, Kaisha Ephraim, President, Shanika Walton, our Vice President, Kendra Caldwell, Secretary, Shalonda Walton, Treasurer, Andrew Sherman, our Historian, Marquez Baker, Parliamentarian, and all BSU members at large. And Lania Baker, our FOSTA Region 1 Director. And then our student workers, Alexis Hall and Selena Cobb Jeremiah. And then our 2019 FOSTA Fall Leadership Convention contributors, Mr. Rory Baker, Opportunity Florida, Ms. V. Williams, Waste Pro USA, Mr. Chuck Hudson, First Commerce Credit Union, and Mr. Tommy Glassman, People's South. Thank you to all the contributors and donors. And at this time, can I have Alexis we'll give out a couple of door prizes. These are for the red raffle ticket. Ticket number 46739999. I'll read it one more time. 4673999. You won a CVS Pharmacy $20 Google Play card. And then another raffle ticket for our Captain D's one. It's a free dinner for Captain D's. Ticket number 4674081. 4674081. And then this is for a Watson's Jewelers gift. Ticket number 4673998. 4673998. And now at this time, can I have Selena Cobb Jaramillo, a member of BSU.
welcome a presentation by Byron Dickens, who will also be speaking at Grand Ridge's Black History Month program on the 28th of February.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Byron Dickens, and I don't want to take up too much of your time. I just want to touch on some historical facts, black history, historical facts, both local and state. Recently, it's been my goal to strategize and incorporate or integrate African American history in the Jackson County Schools curriculum, not just for the month of February, but for pre-K through 12 year-round. This is a modus operandi of mine that I've been at some works since I've come back from active duty. But it is my fundamental belief that African American history is American history, and it is incumbent. Matter of fact, it behooves us to ensure that our children know who they are. So, in the theme of what I'm about to speak on, I use the phrase, continue the legacy, but finish the fight. Knowing their place in history is understanding that America, as we know it, does not exist without the African American contribution, without the African American economic stronghold, without the African American labor, without the African American culture. There is no America as we know it. Matter of fact, to even go deeper, there is no Jackson County without the African American influence. I want to point out a few local and state facts. So there was a brother, black man, born slave, lived and was emancipated on May 20, 1865. 2.5 years after President Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation. He was considered one of the greatest black journalists of the late 19th and early 20th century. His influence rivaled that of Booker T. Washington and W.E.B. Du Bois. In fact, he wrote one of Booker T. Washington's autobiographies. One of his most famous books was titled After War Times, An African American Childhood and Reconstruction Era in Florida, where he explicitly details his encounters as a child growing up in Jackson County, Florida, and experiences the turmoils in Jackson County. He was very, very matter of fact about where he was from. Spoke more specifically, Marianna, Florida. And his name was Timothy Thomas Fortune. His co-author, Daniel Weinfeld, wrote another terrific book about this 3-year war called The Jackson County Wars, Reconstruction and Resistance in Post-Civil War Florida. In it, he explains from early 1869 through the end of 1871, citizens of Jackson County, Florida slaughtered their neighbors by the score. The nearly 3-year frenzy of bloodshed became known as the Jackson County War, the killings close to 100 and by some estimates twice that number, brought Jackson County the notoriety of being, I quote, the most violent county in Florida during Reconstruction era. To go even further, John Quincy Dickinson, although a white man, was known as a defender of freedmen and was murdered right here in Jackson County during that war. He was the head of the Mariana's Freedmen's Bureau. He was assassinated after his predecessor, Dr. John L. Finlayson and William J. Perman. Now, I don't know if you know much about John Brown, but these were the John Browns of Jackson County. See, throughout this, there's been this fallacy that for somehow America was created by white men for white men. That has been one of the biggest false narratives that have ever been told. If that was the case in the Boston Massacre, the first person to lay down their life for this country in the American Revolution was a black man by the name of Crispus Attucks. See, understand that there were brothers and sisters that may have been slaves but were free, but understood that the fight had just begun. And 100 years later, we were emancipated. As Brother Dick Gregory, the late great Dick Gregory says, white is not a color, it is an attitude. There has always been white allies fighting right beside us. And as we know, just because we share the same skin color, don't mean that's our brother. And just because they don't, doesn't mean they're our enemy. This is an American fight. Two of the most influential wars regarding Florida and Jackson County were the Jackson County Wars and the Seminole Wars. Slaves migrated down to the south to this area because it was free Spanish territory. So the idea that everybody was going up north to the cold, well, that's a little distorted. And in that migration, they mixed with Creek and Cherokee natives and indigenous people and created what we know as the Seminole Nation. Nothing's more blacker than to name your arsenal Fort Negro. I would be remiss if I didn't mention about Armstrong Purdy, the first black lawyer in Jackson County, Florida, founded the West Florida Bugle. His autobiography should be a matter of required reading in Jackson County schools. In honor of the NAACP, I would be remiss if I didn't mention Harry Tyson Moore, founder of the first branch of the NAACP chapter in Brevard County, president of the first chapter, succeeded in increasing the registration of black voters in Florida to 31%, higher than in any southern state, still to this day. And I know we know about the Montgomery bus boycott, which ended in December 20th, 1956. But do we know about the Tallahassee bus boycott of 1956?
Yeah.
See, I know I may be speaking to the choir, but I know there's a lot of young folk here that needs to know this history because it's more specific to them. Now ask yourself why in all of the black history I know in my generation that were taught, somehow these pieces were left out. These knowledge of self was somehow left out. See, there's another fallacy, and I want to point to our elders and our ancestors did not suffer through slavery. They did not suffer through Jim Crow. We are not suffering through mass incarceration. Our ancestors and our elders fought through slavery. They fought through the civil rights movement. And we are fighting through mass incarceration. We are fighting every step of the way. African Americans are the winners. You have been fighting and you have been winning every step of the way, including the 243 years of existence in this nation. And you should know so. And your children should know so. No one has the right to tell you to go anywhere because this is your home. This is your nation. You built this nation. You fought for this nation. These ideals that we say, that we speak all the time, life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, that is the dream that you exemplify every day. That Statue of Liberty, it's not there for the War of 1812. It's not there for the Spanish-American War. It is what you represent, it's what America represents because of you. Because of the strides that your elders and your ancestors have made throughout time. Your fight for inclusion and equality has consistently been on that winning side. Make no mistake about it. Continuing the legacy means, simply put, we must pick up where our elders left off. You can't do it on Facebook, you can't do it on Twitter, and you can't do it on Instagram. You have got to mobilize. Finishing the fight. Understand, as long as there is somebody in this nation that threatens your rights and your liberties with a place, a glimpse of a voice, or a vote, understand that the fight is never finished. There's been an appointment of over 191 federal judges, all at the age of 38 and under. All with far, quote-unquote, right ideals, and that's by design. Continuing the legacy means we have to practice more unity amongst each other. Continuing the legacy means we have to work and strategize, meaning we've got to get up off our behinds, get from up under that shade tree, step away from the club a little bit, and put down those cell phones. Standing together and fighting for these inalienable rights to be held to the standard that is just as equal for Byron as it is for Jim, just as equal for Stacy as it is for Whitney. Continuing the legacy by sitting at the table. See, because our elders and ancestors, they already got the seat. Now we have to sit down and we've got to start working. And we start working by voting. We can only be who we are. We are the original. We are the backbone. We are the example for not just this nation, but everywhere, to include home. We must continue the legacy, but also finish the fight. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Byron Dickens. May God keep you. May God bless you. Thank you for your time.
And now we'll be presenting Black Pioneers of Chipola College, aka Jackson Junior College. Jackson Junior College in Marianna, Florida County, seat of Jackson County, opened its doors in 1961. It was one of 11 Black junior colleges founded in the late 1950s at the initiative of the Florida Legislature. The Jackson County Board of Public Instruction founded the school as the Negro Junior College. The name was changed before the college opened its doors to students. In September 1961, at the time, Black applicants were not accepted by nearby Chipola Junior College, today at Chipola College. The college was jointly supported by Calhoun, Jackson, and Washington counties. Bus transportation was provided. It opened with 47 students and 5 part-time faculty. Its peak enrollment in 1961 to 1965 was 195 students. William A. Hurley was also principal of the school. The following students are Black Pioneers of Chipola College, aka Jackson Junior College. Joseph Fagan, first black counselor and director of testing at Jackson Junior College. Lethea Mays Blackshear, retired U.S. Postal Service and retired owner of Mays Seafood in North Steer Bar. Raymond Prather Jr., author and artist, living and working in Switzerland. Ernest Williams, president and owner of State Farm Industries. Harold Steffens, retired Southern Belle. Anthony L. Swilly, mental health care executive director, Village Resource Center of South California. Virgil Crawford, baseball. Shortstop, first black baseball player of the Chipola baseball team. Isaac Williams Jr., basketball. Power forward, retired U.S. Army Staff Sergeant. Johnny Mae Gibson, FBI, Supervisor of Financial Crimes Unit, 5th African-American female hired by the FBI. Alfonso Maldon, Jr., retired U.S. Army Colonel. Served on President Clinton and President Obama's staff, and Deputy Assistant to the President and Director of the White House Military Office. William H. Russ, retired U.S. Army Brigadier General, U.S. Army Commander of Army Signal Corps. Charles Reed, retired U.S. Army Captain. Westana Harvey, retired U.S. Army Colonel. Connie Harmon Woods, Colonel U.S. Air Force. Dr. Early Spires. County Commissioner of Jackson County District 1, Chipola College Dean of General Studies, Social Behavioral Sciences, Chipola College Psychology Professor, and Chipola College Black Student Union Advisor, owner and licensed mental health counselor of Spires Behavioral Health Care. And that is it.
And now for our keynote speaker for tonight. William L. Bill McCray is a native of Delray Beach, Florida, where he graduated from Carver High School. He earned the Bachelor's of Science degree from Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University in Tallahassee, Florida, a master's degree in curriculum and instruction from Florida Atlantic University in Boca Raton, Florida, and postgraduate work at Florida State University in Tallahassee, Florida. Since 1979, Mr. McCray has served his alma mater in several administrative capacities as Director of High School and Community College Relations, as Acting Director of the Student Union, and he was Director of Community Activities and Volunteer Services, a new department in the Division of Student Affairs. After the university changed its infrastructure, he was assigned the position of Coordinator for Admissions and Recruitment. Prior to assuming these positions, he was employed as an admissions counselor at Florida Atlantic University. Mr. McCray is also an honorably discharged veteran of the United States Army. Our speaker is involved in numerous professional and civic organizations and is a member of Bethel AME Church. William McCray is Elder Emeritus and co-founder of this state's largest Black student organization, the Florida African American Student Association, Incorporated. FASA named its scholarship program in Elder McCray's honor, and the first recipients were recognized during the 16th Annual State Convention in 1991, hosted by the Black Student Union at the University of Florida in Gainesville, Florida. Florida is the only state in the nation with an association of this magnitude. Elder McCray is the recipient of numerous honors and awards and is highly sought after as a motivational speaker. In 2001, he was recognized in his hometown, Delray Beach, Florida, as a history maker at the 6th Annual African Diaspora Award Banquet. Elder Bill McCray retired December 31st of 2008 after 31 years of distinguished and dedicated service to his beloved alma mater. He is married to Vernell Nelson of Live Oak, Florida, and he is the proud father of 4 children, Cornell, Darnell, April, and Conrad. The Chipola Black Student Union is honored to have and proud to present Elder Emeritus William L. Bill McCray.
Isn't it strange that princes and kings and clowns that caper in sawdust rings and common people like you and like me are builders for eternity. Each is given a bag of tools, a shapeless map, and a set of rules. And each must make, ere life is flown, a stumbling block or a stepping stone. One suggested reading, followed by several acknowledgments, and then my 50-minute, y'all be with me, right? They missed it. They missed it. Let me finish what the young lady started and mention another former Chipola graduate, now at TCC, Sharice Turner, who started at Chipola College as a learning specialist and English instructor, is now Dean of Transitional Studies at Tallahassee Community College. The suggested reading, and this is the report from the United Negro College Fund, and it's long, long overdue. And it's simply entitled HBCUs, the Historically Black Colleges and Universities punching above their weight with our bad self. What am I telling you? That all 4 of the historically black colleges and universities in this state are more than 100 years young. The first in Jacksonville, 1 year after the Civil War, 1866, Edward Waters College, named for the 3rd bishop of the African Methodist Episcopal Church. Next, started in my wife's hometown, Live Oak, by the Christian Association, Florida Normal and Industrial College, that then moved to St. Augustine, and then moved again down to Miami Gardens as Florida Memorial University, started in 1879. And then, drum roll. Yeah, amen. What's that? Highest of Tallahassee Southern Hills. None other than the #1 public HBCU in America, as just indicated by U.S. News and World Report. We date back to 1887 with 15 students and 2 instructors, and you know the rest of the story. Finally, but certainly not least, in 1904, the 5 little girls, $1.50, and faith in that just God who sits high and looks low. Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune started what we now know as Bethune-Cookman University, Florida's Big 4, punching above our weight. Lastly, I want to acknowledge the sponsors who contributed to our bulletin for our November Leadership Institute by purchasing ads. I've met some, and please stand so that everybody can see those who contributed ads to the Florida African American Student Association's annual Leadership Institute booklet. Please stand. I've met some already. Yes. That's why we tell our young students you're supposed to show up and show out. Amen. But your contributions go a long, long way as we prepare for what will be April 2 through 5, the 45th Annual State Convention of the Florida African American Student Association, Incorporated. And that is significant. we meet in Daytona Beach. We'll be at the Plaza Resort and Spa. We don't give them much time to go to the beach. We have to take care of business. Ashe. One other significant fact, well, a couple, before I begin my formal remarks. Let me thank Mr. Byron Dickens for suggesting that we finish the fight. Join me in another well-deserved round of applause for Mr. Dickens. Because the struggle continues. In Brevard County, talking about voting and its significance. On Christmas Eve, Harry and Harriet Moore were blown up in their home in Mims, Florida. But what else happened? They were 40 miles from medical attention. They had to go all the way to Sanford, Florida, where there was one, amen, black doctor, Dr. Starks. Now, what am I saying to you? I'm saying that had medical attention been available locally, what may have happened? I just talked about the HBCUs punching above our weight. In Tallahassee, Florida A&M University had the hospital for us, and 150-mile radius, we would treat blacks at what used to be the Florida A&M University Hospital. So we are indeed punching above our weight. Last comment before I begin. Ashe. Jackson County is part of the 14th Judicial Circuit. They mentioned earlier Attorney Purdy, but there was not a black judge west of the Apalachicola River until the appointment of Judge Elijah Smiley. Now, 2015, history was made when Judge Smiley was named the Chief Judge, amen, of the 14th Judicial Circuit that encompasses Bay, Calhoun, Gulf, Holmes, Jackson, where am I? Okay, right here, and Washington County. Chief Judge Elijah Smiley. Tell a quick story with, there it is. Vivian Malone and James Hood chose to attend the University of Alabama, but Governor George Wallace blocked their entrance in 1963. Now, here we are in 2020, and guess, you only have one guess, which state has more HBCUs than any other state? You're right, Alabama. This smart group let me do what you asked me to come here to do. But to the presiding officer, to the chairperson and members of the Chipola College Board of Trustees, to the administration, faculty, staff, students, alumni, friends, and supporters of the college, to members of the reverend clergy, to all elected officials, to the president, officers, and members of the Northwest Florida chapter of the FAMU National Alumni Association, and to BSU President Ephraim for that very kind and generous introduction. I want to share with you also that I'm delighted to acknowledge my First Lady, Vernell. What do you say about your significant other? Well, the Bible says it best. I have never stopped thanking God for you. You ought to say amen. Amen. And I want to acknowledge our friend, but considered part of our family, Mary Anna's own, Miss Sylvia Williams. Welcome home, darling. Stand up if the home people see you. And to each of you here assembled, good evening. And we would also like to invite you, when you get a minute, take a day, come and visit the Florida A&M University Black Archives. You will be amazed at what you see. And you already know that the FAMU Black Archives is the largest repository of information about us from the beginning of time to the present, to the Buffalo Soldiers, and to all veterans and attendants. Matter of fact, all veterans, just stand and do that now. All veterans. Thank you. The Battle of Olustee in 1864 was the largest engagement of the Civil War in Florida. And at that, there were 3 all-black regiments in that battle. And then, Super Bowl Sunday, they recognized veterans who were 100 years young. And in that group was none other than Colonel Charles Edward McGee, a Tuskegee Airman. And you know the rest of that story. The Tuskegee Airmen were the first African Americans to be trained as World War II military pilots in the U.S. Army Air Corps. And the Tuskegee Airmen challenged America's racist attitudes with a willingness to give their lives in service to a country not willing to serve them. Ashe, Ashe. Then at the May commencement exercise at Florida A&M University, we were elated to welcome back to the Hill Lonnie, Rashard, Lynn. The world knows him as Common. Attended Florida A&M from 87 to 89 on a business scholarship from Chicago. He attended FAMU's nationally and internationally recognized School of Business and Industry. And you know that Dr. now common because FAMU conferred the honorary Doctor of Fine Arts degree. So now he's Dr. Common. He's an Oscar, Grammy, Emmy, and Golden Globe Award-winning hip-hop artist, an actor, and best-selling author. And you know him best from his 2015 Oscar-winning Song for Glory. His song from the movie Selma, in which he co-starred. And then, in August, history made at the U.S. Open when Florida A&M University alumna Althea Gibson had a statue unveiled in her honor at the U.S. Open. You know, Althea Gibson is the reason that today we have the Williams sisters and my homegirl from Delray Beach, Coco Gauff, in professional tennis. Althea won all major tennis tournaments, and she was the second African American with a ticker tape parade in her honor. Jesse Owens was the other in New York City. And in 1950, Althea was named the Female Athlete of the Year by the Associated Press and became the first African American woman to appear on the cover of both Time magazine and Sports Illustrated. There was something in the program about Harriet Tubman, but let me commend the Chipola College Black Student Union for showing the movie Harriet just recently. And now, yes, give them one. Harriet's great-great-niece, Alice Brickler, resides in Tallahassee and was instrumental in having Harriet's pistol and ivory handled sword on display at the Black Archives at FAMU. It's now been returned to the Smithsonian Institute in Washington, D.C. And the actress that portrayed Harriet should have won the same awards that Dr. Common won. Ashe. Quote from Harriet: I freed 1,000 slaves. I could have freed 1,000 more if only they knew they were slaves. That's Harriet. And didn't you like at the end of the movie, I don't know if you paid attention, the little footnote at the bottom? Did you see it? You missed it? I'll tell you. It simply said, I go to prepare a place for you. Ashe. I go to prepare a place for you. Special note of thanks to Dr. Willie Spires. Stand up, Dr. Spires. Let me tell you. Let me tell you that under his leadership for some, I shouldn't say 30 years, because that may give away his age a little bit, but yeah, 30 years, he served with distinction as advisor to the Chipola College Black Student Union. And let me tell you, the Chipola College Black Student Union is the standard bearer throughout this state for what a Black Student Union ought to be. And Dr. Spires deserves a lot of credit for that. And Ms. Morales assists tremendously. But let me get started. Briefly. How long Not long. Stay with me. I'm going somewhere, and briefly let me use this theme. Black history. Always something there to remind. Always something there to remind that oppression can be lifted, that discrimination can be eliminated, that disability can be overcome, and that poverty need not be binding. Always something there to remind us that while talent and potential are commonplace, access and opportunity are not. But please know that it's attitude, not aptitude, that determines your altitude when coupled with lots of intestinal fortitude. Black History Month, we pause and pay tribute to the noted and unsung black men and women who helped shape American history. As the late curator of the Black Archives would always say, African American history is simply the history of America, and certainly would not be what it is without us. Ashe. It's a time we focus on the triumphs and tragedies. We highlight the struggles and successes. We commemorate those who dared to be different and dared to make a difference. We salute and say thank you to those who may have stumbled but refused to fall, may have bent but refused to break, and may have tired but refused to quit. So not only this month and last month and next month, but every month, we must be mindful of our great heritage, the greater responsibility, and the greatest opportunity now residing in our care. Reminder that it does not matter where you're from. It only matters where you're going. It does not matter where you start. It only matters that you finish. I would be remiss, Black History Month, not to mention the founder of Negro History Week, now Black History Month, Dr. Carter G. Woodson, born to parents who were former slaves, but went on to earn his PhD from Harvard with his bad self. A lot of that's lost sometimes. You see Dr. Woodson, but then you don't understand that he has a PhD from Harvard. Ashe. And the association that he founded, which is now called the Association for the Study of African American Life and History, chooses a theme for Black History Month each year. This year's 2020 theme, African Americans and the Vote. Your vote is your voice. And the NAACP has it right. Silence is not an option. Silence is not an option. Because in 2020, it's still up to us, not others, to decipher, deduct, deduce, decide, communicate, concentrate, and control our own destiny. What are you talking about, Elder McCrae? Well, I'm glad you asked that question. In 1870, Josiah Walls from Archer, Florida, Alachua County, was elected to the U.S. Congress, where he served until 1876. The last black representing the state of Florida until 1992, when we had 3 rattlers elected to Congress. Carrie Meek, Al.C. Hastings, and my classmate, Corrine Brown. Silence is not an option. African Americans and the vote. In this state, nobody who looks like you or looks like me had served in the Florida legislature since Reconstruction. We fixed that when Jolene Kershaw from Miami became the first African-American legislator in the state of Florida since Reconstruction. Then he was followed by Representative Gwendolyn Cherry, who became the first African-American woman elected to the House of Representatives, also from Dade County. Black history, always something there to remind you. Jonathan Gibbs, Florida's only black cabinet member during Reconstruction, was appointed Secretary of State in 1868 and later served as State Superintendent of Public Instruction. But the story that they don't tell, while he was a legislator in 1884, this is the man, Jonathan Gibbs, that wrote the bill that was passed, that authorized the colored school, originally in Jacksonville, then moved to Tallahassee, but it also authorized the white normal college in Gainesville. They don't tell you that part of the story. A couple of years later, the legislature authorized the Florida State Seminary for women, that today is what? Florida State University. I told you that's smart, not the spot. Shade. But always something there to remind you. No one served in the Florida cabinet until Jesse James McCrary became the first African American Secretary of State for Florida since Reconstruction. And then he served as Miami's Assistant Attorney General and the first black to represent Florida before the United States Supreme Court. But now the good news, education. Say it again, they didn't get you. Education is still the corridor whereby Black America moves from rejection, deprivation, and isolation to acceptance, economic efficiency, and inclusion. Black history, always something there to remind us that knowledge is power, and information is a positive response to a negative threat. In the period 1949 to 1966, blacks of Florida wanted an institution of higher learning below the university level to provide a post-secondary education. And that was accommodated when the state of Florida ended up with the Magnificent 12, Florida's black junior colleges. Bear with me. Roll call. Help me somebody. Booker T. Washington Junior College. President Garrett Williams. Carver Junior College. President James R. Green. Johnson Junior College. President Permain Williams. Roosevelt Junior College. President Britton G. Sayers. Rosenwald, right there in Panama City, Junior College, President Calvin Washington. Gibbs Junior College, St. Pete, President John Rimbert. Swanee River Junior College, my wife's hometown. Live folks, help me somebody. President James Gardner. Collier Blocker Junior College, President Albert Williams. Hampton Junior College, President William Jackson. Lincoln Junior College, Fort Pierce, President Leroy Floyd. It is Jackson Junior College, President William H. Harley Sr. Gotta give you a Volusia Junior College, President J. Griffin Green. Now what's significant about that? Today, there are 28 state and community colleges. It was not until 1994, and you just heard roll call, right? Bad boy, you heard all those presidents? Yeah, you heard me. Okay, but it was not until 1994 until somebody who looks like you and looks like me was named president of a Florida community college. And it just happened to be FAMU graduate Dr. Robert Judson Jr., I should say the late Dr. Robert Judson Jr. became president of the youngest of the 28, Pasco Hernando State College. The most unlikely places that you would think there would be a black college president. In Dade City, in Brooksville, in Newport Richey, in Western Chapel, in Spring Hill, Ashe. But the good news, as of February 3rd, there are now 6 black junior college presidents and 1 Hispanic president. So that's good news, because we're halfway back. So the next time we have the roll call, we can really show up and show out with our bad self. But one unique college, unlike the 11 black junior colleges which share facilities of a local black high school, Collier Blocker used a former Baptist church for its classrooms. That's now St. John's River State College. What's significant about that was a young lady who had served as vice president while Florida Memorial was in St. Augustine. Her name's Sarah Blocker. And at the age of 22, helped establish what I mentioned earlier is now Florida Memorial University in 1879. And Ms. Blocker is an inductee in the Florida Women's Hall of Fame in the Capitol Building in Tallahassee. Lastly, we have to tell you the story. People often wonder, how did Florida A&M University get a law school? Well, it's simple. A black man, back in 1949, from Oklahoma, Florida, Virgil Hawkins, in 1949, tried to go to the University of Florida's law school, was denied. He sued. Show you how the Lord works in mysterious ways. And So there's no need to fret, because what you're fretting about, he's already worked it out. Ashe. Now, watch this. He sued 3 times the Florida State Supreme Court. He sued 3 times the United States Supreme Court. The United States Supreme Court held the ruling by the lower court that said Virgil Hawkins could not be denied admission simply because he was black. Obviously, that meant nothing at the University of Florida. He was still denied admission. So he went out of state. He made a mistake. He went up to Massachusetts, went to Portia Law School. He did graduate, but there was an issue. The law school was not accredited. So when he came back to Florida, that meant that he was not eligible to sit for the Florida bar. But here we come. Here come these rappers. Joseph Patchett, first black appointed to the Florida Supreme Court. He was able to convince the other justices that this man deserved to be able to practice law in the state of Florida, and they concurred. So they granted Virgil Hawkins the ability to practice law in the state of Florida, which he did in Leesburg. But the story is that 28 years later and 6 lawsuits later, here he is, attorney Virgil Hawkins in Leesburg, passed in 1988, but never gave up on his dream. And while he was not able to go, he is credited with making it possible for others who want to attend graduate and professional school at these predominantly white institutions. They can do that thanks to Virgil Hawkins, Oklahoma, Florida, going to the city. But breaking news, in fact, as we speak, the FAMU College of Law is launching a 24/7 TV network dedicated to African Americans with our bad self. Ashe. As I said, I'm going to my seat. But in 2020 and beyond, good news, the best is yet to come. On 2020 and beyond, count on blessings instead of crosses, gains instead of losses, joys instead of foes, friends instead of foes, smiles instead of tears, courage instead of fear, health instead of wealth, and surely, surely, surely God instead of self. And before I go, let me finish what you started, my brother, with the Tallahassee bus boycott. In 1956, in Tallahassee, Florida, 2 female students, the late Carrie Patterson and the late Wilhelmina Jakes, got on the bus. They were asked to go to the back of the bus. They refused to do that. And they refused to give the driver the 10-cent fare that it cost. But that started something that reverberated throughout the nation. The Tallahassee bus boycott means that now we can move from the back of the bus to the driver's seat. But the problem with that is that while many of us have moved from the back of the bus, not enough of us are in the driver's seat. While many of us have moved from the back of the bus, not enough of us are in the driver's seat. Last example, in this state there are 67 counties. Currently, it's a disgrace to report that there are only 4 black sheriffs. Broward County, Clay County, Gadsden County, where Sheriff Morris A. Young attended Chipola Junior College. Probably should have been on your list, I shared it. And Leon County, Sheriff Walt McNeil. And before I leave talking about justices, it's a disgrace that at the moment there are no black justices on the Florida Supreme Court. Let me say that again. Yeah. NAACP has it right. Silence is not an option. We need to speak up and speak out. In a state as diverse as Florida is, there ought to be at least one of us on the Florida Supreme Court. I rest my case. Black history, always something there to remind us that life without purpose is barren indeed. There can't be a harvest unless you plant seeds. Can't be attainment unless there's a goal. And man or woman's but a robot unless there's a soul. If you send no ships out, the ships will come in. Unless there's a contest, nobody can win. For games can't be won unless they're played. And surely, 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 prayers can't be answered unless they are prayed. Show up and show out with your bad self.
Thank you, Elder McCray, for your motivational words. And now we'd like to actually present to you this plaque. On behalf of BSU and Dr. Spires. Thank you. And now, can I have Selena to give out more door prizes? Alexis, can we have the tickets, please? Okay, this is a free dinner to Jim's Steakhouse. The ticket number is 4674002. Can you please raise your hand? I'll read it again. It's 4674002. Okay, ticket number 4674008. Now we have another free Captain D's dinner. Ticket number 4674029. 4674029. And then we have a Walmart gift card and 2 free shoe shines. 4674026. And then I'll announce the winners for the $100 Visa gift card and the Dutch oven. Tiana White. And then for the Dutch oven. Reginald Spires Jr. Can you please raise your hand? Reginald Spires Jr. And then this is for a few gift bags. 4673985.
Get it for us. Get it for us.
Okay. And then ticket number 4674000. And then ticket number 4674001. And then ticket number 4674082. 4674082. And then ticket number 4674041. And then 2 more tickets, 4673986. 4673986. And lastly, 4674007. Four, 6, 7, 4, 0, 0. And that concludes our Black History Month celebration. I'm sorry. And now I have the return of the colors by the Buffalo Soldiers. Please stand.
Sorry, you guys. Got a couple of things. I'm sorry. I would like to recognize Miss Carlin Tidwell, which is the Deputy of County Administrator, if she would stand and wave at us.
Great.
And we have just a short poem by Mr. Evans. Mr. Evans, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Dr. Pryor, for letting me do this poem. So I pray, by the highest high, the Almighty, giver one, gave breath of life to you and to me. Say, finding myself from an ancestry, bloodline, lifeline flow, that's what it means. Yeah. I am one you see in God's kin. I be born in America, born free. I ain't earned nothing, but I received from their dignity, their gift, they afforded they all that I have life, you see. So therefore, when it comes to America and it comes to me, I give everything I can to respect my ancestry because they afforded they all. But their last blood, if necessary, they gave that I could be. So therefore, I'm not enchained and shackled in any way. Yeah, I'm free, I say. I am, because of them before me, I received through them that I be bloodline, lifeline, flow, free, with dignity. I respect my ancestry. Thank you.